All right, guys, what's up? It is Xavier Brinkman here with you on the Heard Well Now podcast. We're down here at Castbox Studios and I'm hanging out with the legendary Jessie Paege. How you doing?
Hi. Thank you for calling me legendary.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Only a select few get called that, you know?
Wow.
I like this. I like your hair. I like that the t-shirt is kind of the same colors as your hair.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my merch that released today. So I was like, why not wear it?
Tell me about that. All right, so the line is dropping in Hot Topic.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So basically, I just started working with Hot Topic this year and I'd been shopping there for a while. So I never really even thought that was a possibility. Nonetheless, a clothing line. And I've been wanting to talk about this to my followers for so long because they know how much I really love the brand. And it's so cool to be able to finally not only talk about it, but like for them to actually be able to buy the merch is so cool. Yeah, and it's been a really good collaboration. It's really cool because I think we created clothes that resemble them and resemble me. It's kind of outside of their comfort zone, but it's also a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And it's really cool because it's like if Jessie Paege and Hot Topic were to have a child, like that's what the clothing line is.
That is a great way of summing it up.
So I remember over the holidays last year, I got a brand deal. They were doing like a countdown to Christmas and it was with a ton of different like influencers. And I remember they worked with Sadie Sink from Stranger Things. And I love Stranger Things. Like if you've ever seen a Jessie Paege video.
I love that remix of the song you play too.
No,
Yeah. I love it.
So I flipped out and I was like, this is so cool. Oh my God. And then I remember like all the comments, like everyone was so supportive of that brand. Like, you know, it was a brand deal. It was me supporting the brand and it worked so well. Like, after that, my manager was like, okay, mental note. And they caught Topic too. We were like, okay, we don't want this to be the last of Jessie Paege we see. I remember going to their warehouse one day to meet about it. And I was so intimidated. But when I walked in there, it was like a done deal. It was like, okay, so we're doing this. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And it was like the best date of my life.
And what, say, I'm not from this country, if you can't tell. I don't even know if we have Hot Topic in Australia. Maybe we do. It definitely wasn't a thing, though. What was Hot Topic to you as a kid?
So, oh my God, I've actually had this conversation a lot recently because I just discovered today that Hot Topic's been around since 1989, which is crazy. Like, it's older than I am.
Yeah.
I grew up very shy, and because of that, I was very close with my brother and couldn't really connect with a lot of other kids my age and so on. And we always talked about like anime, Star Wars, like things like that. And those were things that my friends and I never talked about. And we would shop at like Justice, and that didn't really represent that. And Hot Topic was the store that represented all these things that, you know, I loved, but I loved in secret. And then it kind of showed me like, hey, other people enjoy this too. That's sick.
Right. And it sort of helped you find what you were all about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. And you just mentioned there that you were the shy kid. And in a lot of your videos you talk about that you didn't speak in high school. Talking to you now, that just blows my mind. I can't picture a quiet Jessie Paege, but I guess I'll take your word for it. When you uploaded your first YouTube video years and years ago, did you ever in your wildest dreams expect it to evolve into what it is today?
Oh my God, no. Which, by the way, if you've seen that first video, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's like a New Year's outfit video, but like my friend, like I was so tall, like she literally like only films my butt. Like it's great.
Okay.
It's like such an awkward angle. For me, I watched Bethany Moda and Dan and Phil and Connor Franta and Troye Sivan a lot. And I always saw Bethany Moda talked about how she used YouTube as a way to be less shy. It was like an outlet for her, and it was something that helped her find her voice. And I was like, oh my God, like that's all I want. Like this really shy, insecure kid in high school. So I just like got into freshman year of high school. I just switched schools, and that was really hard for me, especially like any shy kid knows this, but like moving schools is the worst thing. It's like icebreakers all over again, except you're the only one doing it because everyone else knows each other already. And shy kids just hate icebreakers. I mean, who does like icebreakers?
No, of course. So it sounds like it completely helped you come out and find your personality.
Yeah, 100%.
Find your voice. That's crazy. And you know, it's funny. I mean, this podcast literally interviews YouTubers. You know, so I had Ricky Dillon in last week, and he said a very similar thing. Nikita Dragon said a very similar thing.
Oh my God, legend.
Gigi Gorgeous said a very similar thing.
Legends only in the studio.
That's what the podcast should be called. Legends only.
Legends only in the
Andy, write that down. And they all said a very similar thing. Like Gigi Gorgeous said she just didn't have any role models. Like she didn't have, there was no transgender, I guess like influencers, or I guess there wasn't influencers at all because it was like pre-Instagram days, but she was like, well, I guess I'll be that person. And same with Nikita Dragon. And so it also sounds like you've done a similar thing where you acknowledge that you were the shy kid, that you were insecure, and you realized that you weren't being who you wanted to be, and you just decided to be that person. Is that a responsibility you feel like you've taken on?
Yeah, for me, it's not even like responsibility. It's like, I felt weird making these back to school videos that were just like DIYs and crafts. I'm like, no, like I want to help kids like beyond that. I'm like, okay, what's really personal in my life? And it's like, oh, okay, my whole like overcoming being shy, and YouTube helped me get there. So like I like started to change my content to be more into, I don't know, it was just more personality based and so on. And people responded so well, and I'm so grateful for that. I do feel, I guess, like a responsibility, but it's almost like I put it on myself. And part of me obviously hates it because it's so uncomfortable to talk about. But the other part of me loves it because like hearing those stories and meet and greets and so on, like this video really impacted my life. It makes it all worth it. And it just like motivates me more. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like what I am doing, it's hard, but it's worth it.
What kind of stories have you heard from fans?
Well, you were talking about the sexuality thing, and with my coming out videos, that's definitely been one of the things I've been hearing in meet and greets a lot. I was at a Panic at the Disco concert, and I have a lot of just fans that also enjoy that band. And like, it must have been...
Was this in the rainbow suit?
Oh my God. It was rainbow makeup and a silver suit.
Right. My bad.
I need a rainbow suit. I'll get there one day. But basically, yeah, I had a lot of people like, you know, you helped me come out, you helped my sister come out, like... Or even just thank you for opening up. Like I'm an ally, and even that like help my friends, like whatever it is, or help me discover more about
what
my sexuality
with,
and like how to, you know, treat that and what to say and what not to say. And like hearing things like that is so, I don't know, it's great.
That is amazing. I can only imagine. So I want to touch on a little bit more about you talking about you being in high school, because I'm still trying to imagine you as a quiet person.
Yeah.
In high school, when you were at your, I guess like your confidence was at its lowest. Can you explain or try and tell me a day in the life of Jessie Paege when you're in high school? Like what you'd be like in high school, what you'd do at lunchtime, what you'd do when you got home?
So it was really hard for me because my whole like middle school and stuff, I had friends going up to me, you know, is like asking my other friends, like, is Jessie mute? That type of thing. Like, and then, but I had like a few friends I identified with. And then I went to a bigger high school and I found like a group of like 5 to 8 people that I really loved and felt comfortable with. And like, as a shy person, like opening up to more people, like 5 people was like a big step for me.
Yeah.
And then, my brother got like very severely bullied and I had to move to a private school, and I just did not connect with anyone there in any way. A lot of kids got sent there for sports, and I just was never athletic. It just was never in my path. And I remember it, like my routine, like I realize now like how unhealthy it was for my mental health. And I was just, you know, like almost letting my shyness win in some ways. And it definitely turned more into, because being shy is different from being socially anxious, it turned into that a lot more, like to the point where I was so dependent on being alone.
It was like a salvation for you. It's like, just hang on until you can be by yourself again.
Exactly. I remember I would wake up early and do my homework before school, because after school was like my time to work on YouTube. So I'd get to school like 6 or 7. I was nuts. And then, just go to classes. And at lunch, I always would do my homework at lunch. And I would just like, I would either go by myself and I would like bring my lunch there, then go and work on schoolwork, or I had one other friend that's I had to find her later too, that was 2 years older than me, but we were like friends in school, as in like we both just like to study at lunch together.
Mm-hmm. And where would you study? Like in a library or somewhere?
It was the library, yeah. So it was like very quiet to set the scene.
Yeah. It was a cool day in November.
It was a cool day in November in New Jersey. School like lasted, I had a really long school day at that private school. It was until like 4 p.m. And then I'd go home and I would either film a video or edit it. And that was it. And then maybe on the weekends I would see my friends from my other school, but that was even like, I don't know, I just started to become very dependent on YouTube and very independent.
How did people react when they found out about your YouTube channel?
Considering, in school?
Yeah, considering they were calling you a mute and all this sort of stuff. How did they go seeing this contrast of personalities?
I didn't have a lot of people actually come up to me about it, and I would always hear about people talking about it behind my back, but not even that much because I didn't talk to a lot of kids from my school. A lot of people made weird rumors. Like when I left to do online school junior year, and everyone said like I left for Pixar, which like I never heard anything from Pixar, but I was like, okay, I'll take it. Whatever. Pixar's cool. Like, I don't know. There were some weird rumors and like, you made $1 million off of that. I'm like, what? $1 million?
Yeah, it's like, I didn't know about that. Where's the
money? Yeah. Where's that $1 million? But a lot of people wouldn't say things to my face, but like other people would hear like it would be a discussion in class. And I was like, that almost makes me feel more uncomfortable and isolated and weird, you know?
Yep. Yeah. For sure. You know, I one good example of that, I had Jay Versace on the show a while ago.
Yeah.
And he said he got severely bullied because of he was on Vine, sorry. So this was a little bit different, and he was doing these crazy personalities and doing all this wild stuff, and he was quite an introvert as well in high school. He was also in New Jersey, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he said that I think that was what forced him to leave school in the end, is because he just got severely bullied for it because people just sort of couldn't fathom what he was doing, you know? I mean, he said, it goes, no one did that where I was from, and what the types of things I was doing was too much for people to comprehend in terms of just matching me up with what I was doing online compared to what I was like in real life. You know, it sounds like you had a little bit of that, but it wasn't as severe.
Exactly. Like I was so much of a wallflower that if people try to do that, they actually couldn't, because like I didn't even allow myself to be in that situation, and I think it was because I was just so terrified of being bullied.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you're only 19 years old. This wasn't that long ago we're talking about here.
No, I know. I remember it very vividly. Like everything, like, ooh.
Yeah, and so things are building up in high school.
Yeah.
When did you get to a point? Do you remember a point where you were like, hang on a second, this is doing pretty well. I might be able to do this full time.
Wasn't until like a year ago where I was like, okay, I'm going to pursue this. Like YouTube, I was treating YouTube like my plan B, and I was like, if I love my plan B so much, why not make it a plan A?
Of course.
You know, make a living off of something I really love and enjoy. Like, why not pursue that all the way?
Do you remember where you were when you hit 100,000 subscribers?
Yes.
Set the scene. Story time.
Oh my God. Okay. So this is like, it was summer, sophomore in high school going into junior year. And I remember.
What was the weather like?
It was summer. My parents had a house in the Hamptons, very bougie. And, I didn't have any friends out there because my parents had just bought the house. So that definitely, especially as a shy person, I just like function way better by myself than other people. Like other people probably would have gone nuts if they like were alone that much. But for me, I somehow, I don't know how I did it.
You loved it.
I loved it. Yeah, I can definitely be alone for like long periods of time. But basically, I like barely hung out with my friends all summer. And I remember I hit 100K like that June. And then I remember my channel like tripled that summer because all I did was make videos. Like it was my life.
That's pretty quick. So it went from 100K to 300K within a few months. So it sounds like it really just snowballed.
Yeah, it did. It was really surreal, but it was really cool. And I remember that was the summer that I went back to school and a lot more people had heard about it. And then there was all the like people talking and being mean about it and so on. And that's when I started to consider potentially doing online school and getting a manager. So
was the reasoning for doing online school purely that you needed to focus on YouTube, or was it a bit of both where it's like, hey, I don't want to deal with this bullshit right now. I'm out of here. I'm too good for this. Not I'm too good for this. I'm out of here.
I think it was kind of both. Like people weren't nice to me in school. I didn't have friends in school, so I was like, okay, I'm literally only here for the education, and online school is the same, and I'm not here for like the social aspect, which is the only reason a lot of these like influencers, you know, stay in school, because I feel like once it's online school, like, again, you're just there for the education. So, you know. There's
nothing left. Yeah, there's no real reason. And obviously you're an academic person, so you can handle online school. You don't need to be spoon-fed.
Yeah.
So it just sort of works for you.
Yeah. I know. I would like sit in the back and like do my homework. I was very like, I'm a very like self-taught person. Like I taught myself to play electric guitar, like everything like that.
Yep. And editing and all the mechanics of YouTube. Obviously that happened and everything started going really well with the YouTube channel. When did you decide to move out to LA?
I was 17 years old, like
wow.
a baby. And I moved to Hollywood, which was not smart because Hollywood's a little scary.
It is scary.
To live
I'm a grown man. I still get scared.
It was scary, yeah. And I lived in Hollywood literally up until like 2 months ago. I just moved to like Valley area.
So like around, I mean, we're actually in Hollywood, guys. So probably just around here somewhere. We can probably see it from here.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, probably. The hot topic that I'm having my meet and greet at is literally the hot topic that like my friends and I go and hang out at. I'm like, this is weird.
I mean, well, actually, my first question is for this in this situation. So you've just moved to LA. I mean, you've obviously had some, not haters, but obviously people weren't overly supportive. Have you had any sort of people from your high school and where you grew up like pop up out of the blue and be like, hey, like we're really proud of you? Or how do they react to what you're doing right now?
Oh my God, wait, that's actually so funny you ask that because I was on the phone 3 days ago with my best friend from she was my best friend like my whole, like more than half my life. And I hadn't talked to her in like 2 years, which was so weird because we were like, we're going to go to college near each other. Like we're going to, like, and it's so weird. Like how you grow apart from these people that you literally like can't imagine your life without at the time. Like at the time when I was best friends with her, I was like, yeah, like we're destined to be best friends the rest of it, Mm-hmm. It's crazy. But anyways, it was really interesting just hearing like how different we are and how, I don't know, I guess when you live in this like YouTuber bubble, you forget that the things you're doing, like you forget how cool they are. Like she's like, you're in Hot Topic. I'm like, well, yeah, like that is so cool. Like other 19-year-olds don't do that. Yeah.
Well, other 19-year-olds haven't written like 2 books and have a successful YouTube channel and a clothing line and all that. It's pretty impressive. You definitely do need to take a minute to go, I'm doing all right.
So many compliments on this podcast. I'll take it. I'm going to listen to it whenever I need a little boost.
And okay, so fast forward. So we've gone from, we've got the backstory on high school. We're fast forward to now.
Yeah.
Obviously there is amazing things you're doing as a YouTuber. I mean, just take today, for example.
Thank you.
What are some of the not so glamorous side of being a YouTuber that people don't see or they wouldn't even realize?
I'm like not very controversial online, so I really don't get a lot of hate, but the people just have like very strong opinions about me for some reason, and they're just, for me, I'm the most sensitive person on the planet. Like, I literally will read like one thing. I'll have one person in my life. I'll have like 2 people that I care about in my life fighting and I'll just start crying. Cause like, I'm like, no, I care a lot about the 2 of you. So like.
Even when you're not directly involved?
Exactly. Oh. Yeah. Cause I'm like, I just care about you, man. So yeah, I guess like.
They're like, why is Jessie crying? You're not even in this. What's going on?
You don't even know what happened. You just see them fighting. Yeah.
Very sympathetic.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a good thing, but maybe I'm a little too sympathetic sometimes. But anyways, yeah, that one comment will like, even one person being like, I don't necessarily like all your merch. I'll be like, oh, and like, I don't know. I still haven't built that strong skin or even just like realistic standpoint of like, you still have so many people that do support you.
Sure. Choose what you focus on.
Yeah, exactly. Like these people in their minds, they think what they're doing is ethical. Like them hating is like doing something right. But it's like, what positivity are you putting out there in the world? Like, what are you doing? You're just tearing someone down, especially someone like I don't put out like harmful content. So it's like, what is calling my merch ugly? What is that going to do?
Yeah. You didn't have to watch the video, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another thing that isn't glamorous. I'm sure you probably heard other people have talked about this, but YouTube really is a very, this career, it's like, it's weird because it's hard to explain. It's you believe you're surrounded. It's like, you're lonely, but you're surrounded by people at the same time. Like it really is a very isolating career path. Mm-hmm. Not that I would ever have it any other way, but it's so easy to just, I don't know, be alone and be responding to comments all day and to believe that you saw someone or it's so crazy.
Sure. I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And, I feel like maybe 10 years ago, people would have looked at that as online friends not being real or it's like it's unhealthy. But I honestly do think things have changed. And I did watch a video that you put out, I think it was recently, talking about how you had a lot of online friends in high school and that really helped you get through. And at the end of the day, it's like if that helped you, then it helped you. You know what I mean? Like who's to say something that helps someone isn't healthy or even real, you know? Yeah.
And I feel like also I never know like when when I'm working, when I'm not working. I saw an influencer, I think it was Dodie. She like posted about this. I was like, that's so true. It was like people do like Instagram story Q&As. She was saying like one of the hardest parts about her job is that like she never knows when she's working, when she's not working, whose business, who's actually my friend. Like, when do I turn off? When do I like, what are my hours? It's so hard. And like, I've been like trying to set more hours in there for myself because like I've allowed for myself to be available like until 10 p.m. It's like, no, maybe I should take that time just for myself to not be on my phone, to read a book, whatever it is. And like not always
set some parameters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And we have a lot of the fans who tune into this podcast are also up and coming YouTubers and creators themselves. Cool. Do you have any advice for people starting, say, a YouTube channel?
I'm sure every YouTuber says this, but I can't reiterate it enough. But there's so many personalities on YouTube. So every person, every human being is unique in some way. You have something different to contribute. And like, you don't need to emphasize that all the time, but just think of how like, even just incorporating that a little bit can separate you from someone else. And definitely, authenticity is important, and definitely don't put your self-worth into numbers. Like if you're proud of your video, like be proud of your video, be proud of, maybe how much better your videos are getting, your editing. And like, sometimes the numbers won't reflect that, but personally knowing that, you've improved in that way and like actually rewarding yourself is important. And sometimes the numbers don't always, reflect that, but you can't put your self-worth into that, like numbers. You just, into your numbers.
For sure. And what's the secret to success for a Jessie Paege YouTube video?
I've stopped clickbaiting, which I didn't really clickbait. I just would like, honestly, I don't know. The thumbnails were just a bit too like flashy YouTuber-y. Sure. And recently I've just been like, no, like I want a thumbnail that demonstrates my personality and like makes the video look cute versus like, oh my God, I need to press this, type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, like, I don't know, I would just like do something weird in the video just for the thumbnail. And I was like, no, I'm just going to let the video run its course and have a thumbnail that accurately depicts it. And I think for me, like, I don't even put my success in the numbers at all anymore. It's like, okay, what does this video do long term? Like,
how does it give back a little bit, or just the substance?
What's the substance? How does it give back? Yeah, like that's what's important. And honestly, like that is the most important thing. I have so many people that get so many more views than me, but they're like, oh my God, like your audience, you're so connected to them. Like they're so interested in what you're doing and so on. And I'm like, that's because my content's real. And I don't know, it's so real to me, and people feel that. Like people can tell.
You have a compilation coming out really soon with Heard Well. You've picked out some really cool tracks.
Yeah.
I've got them here, and I want you just to pick out one of them and tell me why you chose it and why you love it.
Ooh, oh my God. Okay. Oh, there's so many artists I really love.
You can do two if you want.
Okay, I'm going to do two. So I am obsessed with this artist. Her name's Falula, and I literally been putting her in my videos since I was 16 years old, so like 3 years. And Out of It is one of the songs I actually put in there. And she's like, she reminds me, I believe she's Danish. She reminds me of like a, exotic Marina and the Diamonds almost. Like it's because I enjoy pop music, and I think that pop music doesn't necessarily have to, I don't know, people are afraid of like implementing like intelligent concepts into pop music for some reason. I'm like, no, it can have a pop sound, but it can also, like really just incorporate some really intelligent concepts. And I really like one of her songs, like she's a song called Superficiality, which I think is so like, I don't know, I'm like, that's clever. Cause like she's talking about how like superficial people, like they're fishy,
Yeah.
It's really like emotionally significant. It's significant to me because I've just been putting her music in my videos she's
been a part of your creative process.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. I've been obsessed with ZZ Ward since Pretty Little Liars. She did the Pretty Little Liars soundtrack like back in the day. And I don't know, Lonely is a bop. It's like all about like how she like, I don't know. It's really, she's singing about this like, like being lonely. Like that's not a happy concept. And like, but it's kind of like a like fun upbeat song. And I always find it so interesting when people do that. Like I love Paramore's new album because they're really happy sounding tracks about some pretty dark stuff. But I'm like, like not a lot of people can pull that off. It's sick. Yeah.
I've interviewed Zizzy Ward a little while ago. She's great.
Oh my God, what?
Yeah. Around here, actually. Yeah, she's awesome.
That's so cool.
We'll pull her in. We'll pull her in the next time we do an interview with you, okay?
Please. Oh my God.
Amazing. All right. So as I said, that's just 2 songs that that you guys can look forward to on Jessie Paege's compilation. Ooh. Do you know the name of it?
So it's a play on the word empowerment, but it's all about just encouraging, it's all about empowering empowering women, smaller female artists essentially, and female artists that have great messages as well. Like I love that there's like a theme and a story behind it. So, it's called Empowerment.
Hey.
So like the word woman's in there.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. All right. So just to finish off, I've got 5 questions that have been submitted by fans. They've actually submitted voice bites. So you'll be able to hear their voices. So I'm going to play these five questions for you and you just answer them however you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can hear it.
Hey Jessie, I was just wondering, how do you feel after knowing that you've impacted so many people in a positive way with your career and personality? Love you from Mexico.
It feels really cool, and it's definitely not easy to open up online. But like I said, like hearing, I don't know, like little things like that, like it really makes it worth it because I put so much of my life online, and it's really scary, and I don't always. It would be so much easier, to just share the really happy moments in my life and always try to be, always try to be the funny YouTuber, especially because on YouTube, that is what sometimes gets numbers, honestly, like, not the difficult concepts, because people don't always want to press on something serious, like after school and so on. So I really try to, keep it a little entertaining, but also, really implement those serious concepts. And I don't know, hearing how it affects people is just, it warms my heart.
Lovely. All right, next one.
Hi, Jessie. It's Coda's Not Cool from Twitter. My question is, what are some future plans you have for your channel? Yeah, I love you. Bye.
So cute. Hello from Twitter. So future plans for my channel, huh? You know what I would love to do? It's been very trendy for people to do like series, like a docu-series. Like Shane Dawson is really, started this trend, and people have been like digging into their past and so on. And I would love to do that. I'm still thinking of like what I can do and so on, but
work in progress. Yeah. Shane Dawson's killing it. I love that new style.
God. Hey, Jessie, I was just wondering what you would consider the most defining moment of your YouTube career.
Ooh, that's a really good question. This year, honestly, has been like the year for like, I feel like I've had so many good moments this year. Ups and downs for sure, but like, I don't know, really cool things in the career space. Defining moment, I would say it would either have to be, I would say I really am proud of my merch that came out, but I think like uploading those coming out videos like really allowed for me to relate to a whole new audience, relate to my audience in a different way, create content for so many other people and so on. And I don't know, being able to do that has been so incredible, and seeing how that impacts people as well. So I would say uploading those has been like one of the, I don't know, like highlights of my career.
Great.
Hi, Jessie. My question is, what was the hardest part of gaining self-confidence in yourself? Thank you. Love you.
Okay, this is going to sound weird, but I think one of the hardest parts about like the hardest parts of getting confidence is also showing that it doesn't mean that you're arrogant. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, you're confident now. Like, I'm confident now, but I'm not full of myself. There's a difference, like I don't think I'm above anyone. Mm-hmm. I feel more comfortable within my own skin. And I think that's important. I don't know, because sometimes it can come off that way.
And so, okay, so you felt like you were being arrogant. You felt like it was coming off the wrong way?
No, never. Okay. Just like, I think I think it's just showing people that, because keep challenging yourself, keep working towards confidence. But like, sometimes other people get like, some people have issues with the line of what's confidence and what's arrogance. And for me, I was so nervous of like seeming arrogant that I wouldn't let my confidence show, if that makes sense. So I would be like, I don't know. I wouldn't admit that like, I feel really good about my career, or I like the way I look, and I wouldn't admit that, but I was like, no, that's actually taking things a step backwards, because liking the way you look, like that doesn't mean you're arrogant. No. You know, I think it's just not believing that you're above others, but just being confident within yourself. Sure. And I just have to like tell myself that, like, you're not being arrogant by saying this. Like, you're just proud of yourself.
All right. Well, I think those fans are going to be absolutely stoked that you answered the question. They're going to love it. They were cute, weren't they?
They're cute. Yeah.
That's awesome. Look, I will wrap it up. I'll let you get off to this meet and greet. What's your strategy with meet and greets? Do you have, is it very draining? Do you love it? Is it super, do you get a big rush from it?
I always ask people's names because it just shows that you care, in my opinion, and I do care. I actually like love to hear people's names. I don't know why. I like to ask people if they want to do silly photos.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like giving time for those, I don't know, giving like enough time. Sometimes it's really hard though, because nowadays it's like, can you FaceTime my friend? Can you also like write me an essay about this? And it's like,
can you draw me a tattoo?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, it's not that you don't care, but it's like you need to get to everyone. And like people forget that, like, it, especially because I do talk about mental health and LGBTQ plus, you know, issues. Like, people do get very personal in my meet and greets. And I find myself like being an empathetic person, like when people tell me about, you know, their own struggles, like, I'm so emotionally exhausted after a meet and greet. Sure. I'm like, oh.
Well, also, like, they come in feeling like they know you. They already feel so close to you.
And I'm meeting them. That's so true.
Yeah, and you're meeting them for the first time, being like, whoa, sorry, what's your name? And okay, that's how you're feeling. It's a culture shock. But for them, they already feel, it's almost like they already feel so comfortable with you, but they haven't actually met you.
That's so true. Oh my God, that's so weird to think about. I don't know. It's like they all know me, but I'm technically, this is more of me doing a meet and greet. I'm meeting them.
Yeah, it is. They already know who you are.
They've already met me. Yeah. Oh my God, that's weird.
It's a new perspective to go into. But look, I won't take up any more of your time. I know you've got busy things to do and people to meet. But I want to say a huge thank you. High five.
Yeah. I love high fives.
Yeah, guys, you've been listening to the Heard Well Now podcast with the awesome Jessie Paege. My name's Xavier Brinkman. We're at the Castbox Studios in Hollywood. Yeah. And we'll catch you next week. Cheers.
Bye.